Welcome to the Service to Syndication Podcast, where we interview the biggest and most successful real estate entrepreneurs, investors, capital raisers in the world who have worn the uniform of this great country, those who provide services to our men and women in uniform, and other service-oriented professionals to provide you with the tool sets, the mindsets, and the skill sets to help you conquer your dreams and goals in real estate and to use this wealth creation vehicle so you can live a more successful, happy, and fulfilled life of generosity and prosperity. If what you desire is time, lifestyle, and financial freedom, you've come to the right place. We will bring to you the best real estate entrepreneurs who will give you the insights, the knowledge, experience, skills, so you can go out and crush it in whatever real estate asset class you desire. So grab a pencil and paper, sit back, and enjoy the ride on the Service to Syndication Podcast. Hello, my servicemen and women and other service providers. Welcome to another episode of the Service to Syndication Real Estate Podcast. I am your host, Cedric Marlow. I am a U.S. Navy vet. Here on the Service to Syndication Podcast, we interview the most successful real estate entrepreneurs, capital raisers in the world, where most have donned the uniforms of our great country. We aim to provide the mindsets, the tool sets, and the skill sets for you to achieve your personal and business goals while using real estate as a wealth creation vehicle to help you live a more successful, happy, and fun-filled life. I am super excited today because I have with me power couple, Paul and Letitia Montelongo, who are top-notch real estate syndicators in the multifamily space. But before I properly introduce our exciting guests to you, I want to ask a favor of you. Please, if you get some value out of this interview, if you get some type of insight, mindset shift, if you learn a new skill, new information, or receive inspiration or motivation to go out and make some progress in your life, please share this episode with some of your friends. Send it to someone you know who might be or could be interested in real estate. Share it on your social media and post it on your wall. Help us spread our message while you help others. Again, everyone, I have with me Mr. Paul and Letitia Montelongo. They are nationally recognized entrepreneurs, seasoned real estate investors, and transformational mentors with over $150 million in combined revenue. With decades of experience, they empower business leaders and entrepreneurial couples to build thriving businesses and lasting legacies. Paul has founded 8 multi-million-dollar companies and currently leads the acquisition of undervalued multifamily and specialty assets across emerging U.S. markets. With 1,200 plus rental units under management, he's also a speaker, author, and performance coach. Letitia is a former corporate professional turned serial entrepreneur, having built ventures in aesthetics, real estate, and consumer brands. As co-founder of Montelongo Capital, she drives investor relations and capital raising. Together, they host High Velocity Couples, a platform and podcast helping entrepreneurial couples align purpose, grow businesses, and strengthen relationships. All right, Paul and Letitia, first off, welcome. Listen, the first thing that I like to do with my guests is have them to run us through their real estate journey, 75 seconds or less, and then we can start to unravel a lot of that.
All right. You can take the lead on this one.
Okay, so my first real estate transaction was when I was 17 years old. I bought a piece of land. I was going to build a house on it, and I had no idea how to build a house. So 2 years later, I posted little signs on a telephone poles that said lot for sale. And the phone number was the phone number to my parents' house. And somebody called. And so they bought that for $15,000. I bought it for $7,500. I made double my money. So I did what every seasoned real estate investor does. I bought a truck and a motorcycle. And then from there, that just began my journey. I began to flip houses and buy houses, and I've done light commercial. And then I did that for many years, built a construction company, built an insurance restoration company, a real estate marketing firm. And then about 12 years ago, I started buying multi-income stream properties. And so since then, I've purchased marinas, RV parks, apartments. I would like to say storage, but we just sold our land, our storage land Thursday, 2 days ago. We had the Godfather offer come in. They made an offer we couldn't refuse.
Right.
So we sold that. But then that's what we do. So we raise capital, we buy multi-units, we manage them. And out of that, of course, has come our mentorship programs. And hopefully we'll get to talk about how we work together as a couple and how that has really ramped up my game for sure, and how we get along doing that.
Awesome.
That was 74 seconds. I could feel it.
Yeah, exactly. Just
That was
74.
awesome, Paul.
You're right. So wait a minute. A 17-year-old.
Yeah.
What is a 17-year-old boy / young man thinking about real estate, buying a lot, like let alone building a house? How'd that come about?
I have no clue what I was doing. No, seriously. So my father had a remodeling company, and I went to work for him in the summers when I was 14 years old. Putting roofs on, cleaning up trash, all that kind of stuff. Every August when we went back to training camp for football, I was the guy that was in the best shape, because I was putting on roofs and lugging up materials all, summer long, right? So, but anyway, I just worked and I saved my money, and my father said, hey, listen, you need to buy some real estate. And so I found a little residential lot, and then I thought, okay, how do I make money on this residential lot? I built a spec house. But I was, like I said, I was 17 years old, had no clue, no clue. I didn't know what it would cost, how to get it done. So I sat on it for 2 years, and then I just sold it, right? And as it turns out, it was it gave me the taste of real estate. And then I bought another house when I was 21, and then another one when I was 3 probably, and then, which was just a couple of years ago, by the way. And then, and then after the 2008 recession, I moved out to Las Vegas and to invest in the Inland Empire of California. And so we bought foreclosures and pre-foreclosures there and capitalized on that market because the values of homes were so low. And anyway, that's what I did.
And it's so interesting, even when I hear you say that, like, you started all this out because your dad had you in the business, right? And I think so many people that get in real estate, we never know as parents, grandparents, like what we're telling our kids when we're not telling our kids anything, right? Because like my dad was like the same type of dad. He was an electrician and a plumber and kind of did it on himself, but he worked in the oil fields. And so when I was growing up, him and my mom, they used to flip houses before anybody flipped houses. Back then they'd say, we just buy this little house over here, fix it up and rent it out because we need extra money. And that was back in the 70s. So Paul and I have only been married 6 years. So, I bought my first house when I was 21. My second house when I was 23. And when I was 27 years old, my dad and I built a house for my family, right? So it's so interesting just being around family and the image or what your parents represent to you. Like my dad didn't want me to go build a house. I was working as a banker. I worked at Frost Bank, right? But, on the weekends, we'd be out there building a house. So it's interesting how, when you show up every day for your kids, how things really happen in your life. So that's one of the things that we're kind of doing is in our business is that we're making sure that we're showing up for our kids and our family, and our legacy is like so important to us.
Yeah.
It's not uncommon for us to take our little granddaughters on property tours, and they're 8 years old.
There you go.
So
there's never too young to learn.
Yeah. And we don't walk the property and go, now this is the cap rate and this is the occupancy.
Which I've seen people do that. I'm like, really?
But they just, they experience it with us. They hear us talking to owners, and they're just exposed to. Now whether they'll be real estate investors or not, who knows? At least like she says, they're seeing us in our work ethic, in our element.
And it's nice to ask them, like, what do you want to be when you grow up, right? So, yeah, we posed that question to my granddaughter, who's 8 years old. A couple of weeks ago, she was spending the weekend with us because we're really trying to get them to have ideas of having fun careers and being entrepreneurs. And she goes, I don't know, Grandma. She goes, I just don't want any job where I have to sign a waiver.
Wow, where did that come from?
I don't know, but evidently she don't want any of that.
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious. So you guys have spoken about your entrepreneurial journey into real estate individually. Now, what about your entrepreneurial journey into real estate as a couple? How did that start?
So we got married. I was a real estate agent at the time, and Paul had some properties. He had just sold a marina, and we were single for 13 years before we met each other. So neither one of us really had planned on getting married, but we met I actually was on his podcast, and that's how we met. And 10 months later we got married. So the first year we didn't really do anything. We just kind of, made googly eyes at each other and hung out and had fun and went to dinners. And then COVID happened, And so during COVID, Paul was teaching. He has an upstairs office, and he was teaching a bunch of people on multifamily. And I just told him one day, I said, hey, can I jump on the call? I want to learn something different. He's like, sure, jump on. So I jumped on the call, and within 2 weeks, I learned how to do underwriting, right? So I was there was nothing to do because during that time, you really couldn't show houses in San Antonio because of the COVID restrictions. So I underwrote some apartments that I found on LoopNet of all places, right? And I told him, I said, I think I got something. And he goes, really? I go, yeah. So we made an appointment and we went out to see a 64 unit here in San Antonio. He saw it on a Friday. Our offer was accepted on Monday.
Wow.
And we had that property for 16 months, and we made $2.5 million on it. So I was just like, dude, where's this multifamily thing been all my life? Yeah, it was awesome. And that just kind of started us buying properties together. It was, yeah.
So, Paul, by the way, smooth move to have her on your podcast.
You like that, do you?
Yeah, that's pretty smooth.
Yeah. Would you like to be on my podcast?
There you go.
I had heard that you could buy real estate with cryptocurrency. And so somewhere along the road, I Googled that, right? And when you know how the algorithms work, you Google a thing and then it starts popping up in your Facebook feed.
Yes.
Well, she had a show on Fox called Cryptocurrency.
Crypto Cafe.
Crypto Cafe.
Okay.
She was a crypto guru-ette, right? So her trailer, her teaser reel showed up on my Facebook, and I'm like, she needs an interview on my podcast. And so I reached out and she didn't respond. And then, so I didn't reach out anymore. And then about 6 months later, I was living in Austin and I was going to come to San Antonio, where she lived. And I reached out again. I said, hey, I'm going to be in San Antonio. She said, yes. So I took my microphone and I showed up, and then 10 months later, we were married.
Man, love that story. Love
so
it.
You single guys out there, get yourself a podcast.
So, all right. Now, what were some of your early challenges you faced when blending marriage and business, and how did you work through those?
Oh man, this is the crux of where we are right now in giving back, right? It's like the journey that we went through. And what we've discovered is we've come across all kinds of couples in our situation. And, you get to this point because you're a driver, you're goal oriented, you're a decision maker.
They're all words for I'm the boss, I'm the boss, I'm the boss, I'm the boss. But I'm the boss too.
And so it's just...
it was a little tough at first.
It was tough because we're both... First of all, like she said, we'd been single 13 years each. We didn't know each other, but that was our journey. We were on the same journey, right? Did not knowing each other. And so we were used to making our own decisions and being the boss of our own lives. And so coming together, and first of all, we're humbly speaking, we're both, let's call it, we're high-spirited people. We are high-spirited people.
I understand exactly what that means.
And so, when it comes time to make decisions, we both have a very definite opinion. And so we had to really work through that period of time where how do we blend our opinions and our decisions and then our skill sets. And so I'm giving you the short version. Finally, we came to a point where we had to identify, you're good at this, I'm good at this, and let's do our best to stay in our lanes. Doesn't mean that we don't discuss everything together. In fact, we do, but for in terms of like getting things done and moving the ball down the field, like she's got a lane, I've got a lane, and we find that as soon as the more we stick to that lane, the more we get accomplished, right? But
it's so much deeper than that. It's like, you can just say like, well, you need to talk, you need to communicate more. Well, it's not even just communicating more. It's like learning communication skills with someone. I'll give you a good example. Like I am really, when I think of something, I want to say it. So I want you to know what I'm thinking, right? Because sometimes I can't craft my message as well as Paul, because he was a speaker forever. He was a international speaker, right? So his words are put together, he thinks them out, and I am, as he calls me, a dolphin. I want to talk. I want to tell you what I think when I think it. So just communicating with him, sometimes he would feel like I would be interrupting him, when it's not that I'm interrupting you. It's just that you talk this long story and I need to tell you what I'm thinking, because you want to wait till you get to the end of your hour message. But I need to tell you now so that I don't forget, because you go on forever. So it's just things like that, right? I love you, baby.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, it's just really learning how to communicate with your partner in a way that they feel heard and they feel like what they said was very important. And at the same time, not giving up what you think is really important too, because you can't just roll over, because that doesn't make your company successful at all.
Absolutely.
And I don't,
Yeah.
and I think
Right?
also, right. No, I agree with you 100%. And I had to learn, and I'm still learning it. You know, let's be frank here. I'm still learning it. Right. But
I just tap him on his leg like that. And then he knows, oh, I've been talking for 45 minutes.
But I'll
get
tell you
yourself
this.
a podcast, single guys.
But I'll tell you something, Letitia. I'm just like you. I'm direct, straight to the point. I don't have time to go around the world to get to my point. I need to get to it, number one, while it's on my brain,
because you'll forget.
Exactly. Come and go real quick. Trust me,
Yeah. So it's the taking the pause. It's just really learning how to communicate with people. And it's so funny because we're all so different, right?
Yeah.
But I feel like Paul and I have come a long way, and we really learned how to complement each other in our business. And it's really made our relationship so much stronger.
I love it.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that. Thank you. I appreciate it.
So-
The other thing is too, we've not separated our relationship from the business. Okay, so
Okay.
what do I mean by that? It's like when we have a challenge in the business, like we're having a heated conversation, we always go back to, you know what? We're in love first. We're married first.
Okay.
So how do we treat this business conversation in such a way that we stay in love and respect with each other, right? And so we go back to that. And the business conversations, frankly, sometimes can take a back seat. Like, okay, we'll just wait for a minute. We will recalibrate, get ourselves back on the same page, and then we can go discuss this business thing again. So, and sometimes that happens quickly, 5 minutes.
Right.
Sometimes it takes a little bit longer. It just depends. But I know that what we've done is we've kept our marriage and our love first.
There you go. And that's always paramount.
Yeah, because I mean, what are your real goals, right?
Yeah.
It's like to build something with your best friend, right? So why are you going to tear them down the whole time you're doing it? That doesn't make
Absolutely.
sense.
So with over 150 million in revenue across multiple ventures, how do you decide what opportunities to pursue and which ones to pass on?
This is a great question, Cedric, because she will claim that I don't turn down any opportunities. I look at everything, and it makes her crazy. Okay.
You have to bring out the paper. This is our goals.
And I will claim that in order to achieve those goals, I got to
Absolutely.
look at a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So to answer your question, does it fit into, I put it into 2 or 3 things. Number one, will it make money? Okay. Or can I see the opportunity of where it'll make money? Number 2, can I get it done? Somebody could present me a $500 million project. I can't get that done right now. Doesn't mean I couldn't later or drop everything and get it done, but it doesn't fit. Now, you present a $20 million or a $30 million opportunity to us, and we're like, okay, this sounds juicy. Let's dig, right? So is it right? Can we get it done? And then can we sell it and service it? In other words, can we present it to the market? Can we present it to investors? Can we present it to a banker, to a lender? Can we actually promote it? And those are the 3 main things that we take a look at. And I guess probably woven through all of that is it going to be cool? Is it a cool project? Is it fun? Is it interesting? Is it opening us up to something new?
Yeah. Okay. Now, along that line, what core principles have guided your decision making as you've scaled across real estate, construction, and consumer brands?
Core principles like values.
Yeah.
Yes, has guided your decision making.
Okay, this goes back to when we met. When we met, we
We wrote them all down.
We wrote them all down. We wrote them all down. Like, what are your values? What are my values? And so we wrote them all down. And we noticed there was a lot of crossover, a lot of sharing. But at the top, for both of us was the word adventure. So that doesn't necessarily mean, cliff hanging and skydiving and bungee jumping and climbing Mount Everest, although it could. What that means to us is everything that we do and see, is it creating an adventure in our life? Is it challenging us? Is it helping others? Is it making us, is it keeping our attention? Is it interesting? Is it fun? So everything that we do, we see as an adventure. And that's just a mindset. So that's probably our core value. We got to a point where we were like, okay, we know how to buy, we know how to buy 100 units or 200 units, and we can buy that, and we can buy, I don't want to say it's easy, but you learn how to do it, and you know the path. All right, so what else is out there that could challenge us? So we started looking at land development and other asset classes and other kinds of investing, because those are challenging, but we say the word adventurous. Makes sense. And then of course, can we do it in honesty and in integrity? And we don't even talk about that really. Like, oh, is this going to be is this going to be integrous to it? It's just like, we don't talk about it. That's just a given. So
Right.
We don't,
Okay.
that's just a given.
Yeah. When we look at partners, I mean, that is the most important thing, is that they're honest and,
Right.
Good work ethic.
really good work ethic. But you have to be really fun. And we were in a year and a half ago with some people, and I was just like, yeah, if y'all don't want to like close this deal and then go to the beach and hang out and have a great time, and then you're not my people. I want to be around people that want to have fun and enjoy life, because life is short. It can't just be all work all the time.
We've traveled and dined with our partners and our investors, and these are relationships. We say the words adventure and fun and work ethic and integrity and all that. But these are the elements of a relationship. If I have a relationship with you, it's because we share those same values and we approach the world. Our worldview is very similar.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So Letitia, capital raising is a highly relational and strategic role. What's your personal approach to connecting with investors and instilling confidence?
I think the most important thing is really just getting to know them. We are not at a point where we get a lot of people from people just see our website and just send us money, or we do a webinar and they send us money. It's building relationships, and most of them have been at conferences or, events, that we've been to. So, we don't even really ask people for money, until we've known them for a while. I mean, there's some people that we've met right away and they're like, hey, what do you do? And we tell them, they're like, oh, I have some money I need to invest. And we just would happen to have a deal. But we're very, here's a great example. Like our neighbors across the street, we've lived here 5 years, and we see them and they wave to us and they bring in our trash, and we've gone to dinner with them a couple of times, and we've never even talked to them about business. And then one day they were like, what do you do? And we told them, like, oh, we want to invest with you. I would have never talked to them about investments, because I just make sure that people know who we are, what we're doing. And so it's really, to us, it's like having a real relationship with someone. And I feel like once you instill that confidence and they get to know who you are and how you operate, then they'll invest with you. So mine is a little bit a longer runway to get an investor in than a lot of people do. But I feel like those are the people that want to come back to you again and again.
Okay. All right. Now, Paul, how has your 40 plus years of entrepreneur experience influenced your approach to modern day real estate investing?
Patience.
So true. There's so many bad deals. Don't take them.
Patience. We can move on. I mean, I think I've seen it all. There have been 4 recessions that other people call them recessions in my lifetime. So it's just the market does what the market does. Deals do what they do. Deals come and go. The market comes and goes. People come and go. So just patience and just persistence, but patience, and just work with what you have.
With seeing 4 recessions, right? Do you feel that you can tell what the market is about to do? Because you've seen, like you just mentioned, you've seen it all in over 40 years in real estate. Do you have an idea?
I think so. Now, it took a long time to get there, to have that understanding. But I think so now. Like right now, we're in a very soft period of real estate. Well, 2.5 to 3 years ago, that was not difficult to predict, because we had been on a 14-year bubble, on a 14-year run. It's like things that go up must come down. and vice versa. So, that seems kind of obvious in retrospect, but I don't know if my crystal ball is as clear as it could be. That's not what I'm saying here. It's just like you see
Right.
trends. Like right now we're in a soft period. Okay, great. So what's going to happen? It's going to elevate again. Could be 2 years. So that means look for the right deals right now. Don't overpay. Check your financing. Make sure it cash flows. Just really be judicious on your deals right now. And we think that in 2028, 2029, 2030, if you bought deals now, you're going to look like a rock star then. You're going to look like a real estate guru then, because when you sell your properties for top dollar of the market, it'll be a good move if you went through all of the sweat right now.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Like I told you before, I think we started recording. I'm definitely in the market. I'm looking, definitely, trying to pick some things up. So I'm praying you're right.
We're praying and we're right too.
Yeah,
So
there's stuff out there. I just don't think it's quite ready yet.
Yeah.
Because I know a year ago when everything was starting to get really crazy with the markets, everybody was like, oh, everybody's going to be selling. There's going to be blood in the water. Buy your own stuff, and just on and on and on. And I don't really think that's happened. I feel like people are still holding on to their properties. People that don't have to sell their properties are not going to sell at a loss. They're not going to short their investors. They're going to ride it out. They're going to refinance. And that's what we see people doing, right? Just getting extra money, refinancing, getting through the slow time. Maybe next year. I mean, there's still some stuff now that can't be refinanced. So you can get some deals, and there's some assumable stuff out there that you can get, but it's not like everybody was saying it was going to be a year to 2 years ago. Like, everybody's going to just be buying everything up. I haven't seen that at all.
Yeah, because the banks had to recapitalize those loans. They had to, figure out ways to keep those loans from coming on their books.
Right. So it hasn't been so bad.
Yeah.
Which is good, because you don't want the market to tank. You never want the market that you're in to tank.
Absolutely not. So you all have created High Velocity Couples platform, right? And so what does high velocity actually mean in the context of a couple's relationship and their business?
So the brand High Velocity Couples is just that. So high velocity, lots of activity, lots of drive, lots of dynamics between a couple, and specifically couples that have come together to build a business, a legacy, and who are doing very well at that. And all of the dynamics between those two. We've spoken about the dynamics between us. So we discovered that people were interested in our journey, and we thought, okay, how can we help other couples? So we've had retreats, and we've had couples at these retreats, and we get really great feedback, and we see really great results. And I think more than anything, it's couples need to have their awareness, sharpened, right? They know at a foundation that they're in love and that they're life partners. And then this other element of business comes along and seems to interrupt it. And so, or at least, influence it. So we just want to keep people on track and let them know that they're not alone in the way that they feel, and be in community with other high velocity couples.
Yeah, and that's part of it too. Is just, you can do business all day long, but it's all the other stuff that you need to bring into your life to make you successful, a lot of it's mindset, a lot of it's health, I'm amazed at how many people just go out and work, and then nothing. They don't eat right. They don't exercise. They don't take supplements. They just think they're then they wake up one day really sick and old, and they're like, what happened? It's like nothing, because you didn't do anything. So we incorporate a lot of healthy living into what we do. And the couples that we work with, we have at our retreats, we always spend a lot of time on mindset. We had someone come and do some breath work at our last retreat. We always open up our retreats with morning meditation and yoga at every one of the retreats. Paul is actually a certified yoga teacher, so we all do some yoga. It was interesting. One of the events that we had in Costa Rica in November, we had this one gentleman come, super successful. I mean, he's got tons of different businesses. He actually came and spoke at our event, but he had done yoga for the first time. He's lost 35 pounds since November, because he gets up every morning and does yoga now. So, it's just, getting to know a person and just like how they do life and then sharing that with other people makes huge impacts on it. That's like and another lady from our first retreat, she's probably lost 50 pounds just learning to do yoga. You just got to learn how to stop and breathe, get your day set right, and makes a big difference in how successful you can be, and just maneuvering all of the obstacles during the day if you start right.
I was just thinking that what Letitia said earlier about building relationships with investors and people, like when we go to these events or when we go to a conference or when we go to the gym or to play pickleball or to play, or to whatever, or to dinner with people. Okay. Like if we're going to do dinner with you, we're going to do dinner with you. In other words, we're not going there with the agenda for you to write us a check. Make sense? Like we're going to be present to the activity that we're involved in at the moment. And then what we've discovered on the backside of that, and it surprises us every time, like literally every time, is people will say, "Oh, what do you do? I want to get involved in that." Because they saw us in an element where we were giving our all. Let's just say at pickleball, because we love pickleball. Like they saw us giving it our all. And I think, subconsciously people go, these people give their all in everything that they're doing at the moment. So that transfers over to business and that transfers over to their relationship and so forth. Because we have a belief, and that is how you do one thing is how you do everything.
I wholeheartedly agree. Definitely. So now, how do you keep your marriage and business in sync during high stress seasons?
Take a breath.
Yeah.
Do yoga.
Do yoga. Do yoga.
We have a good routine in the morning. It's funny, but we do. We get up early, coffee's ready. Paul makes the coffee the night before we get up, and really we read, we stretch, we do yoga, we listen to music, have coffee. It's like an hour ritual before we ever get started. And then we generally go get some exercise, long walk, pickleball game. So we get in our seats around 9 a.m. and then we work for the day, right? So we reduce our stress. But when things get really, really, really stressful, Paul is really good about taking the lead and all that and then letting me go do stuff. And I mean, stuff like, we really just kind of like separate our responsibilities. So when it's like super high stress, both of us can't fix the problem. If it's a lender or a deal, or I can't fix that. I raise capital, right? So I just let Paul do it, and then I just support him. I'll go bring him lunch. I just do things to make his life more comfortable so he can get through it, right? I feel like that's worked tremendously for me. So I basically turn into a 1960s housewife. Martinis, here you go. You need to fix this problem, Paul. It's true though. I do. I'm just like, what can I do?
And that's what we had to learn. Let's go back 30 minutes, right? That's what we had to learn.
Because I had a lot of male energy because I had supported myself for so long by myself.
Right.
So when things would get really heated, I would be like, gotta fix this. And it's like, when I kind of reverted, and I know women are going to hate hearing this, when I reverted to my feminine and just kind of let him do what he needed to do, things would work out. And then I kind of became more of a support role in that. And it's amazing how much difference it makes. Because you can't have two people trying to solve the exact same problem and being like super stressed out.
So true.
One stressed person and one person helping that stressed person. That has been a lifesaver for us.
And I think we're pretty good about knowing in the moment that we're under stress. Like intellectually, I think most people realize, okay, I'm under stress. All right. But emotionally and cosmically, like what is that doing to us together and individually? So I think we're pretty good at going, okay, this is a moment that we really need to breathe and take a second and step back. And then it only takes a moment for the awareness, and then you jump back into solutions.
But when we get on a pickleball court, I am in charge.
You just follow, right, Paul?
You stay on that side and you let me play.
It's okay. How we do one thing is how you do everything.
Right.
Yes. So when we're on the pickleball court, first of all, I didn't want to play pickleball for years because I thought it was a sissy sport, right? Okay. So then we started playing about a year ago, and we've turned into fairly decent players. But when we play mixed doubles, in the beginning, it was like we were crossing lanes. Like, I'll get that. Okay. That's a representation of our business. We were crossing lanes. Right. And then we got coached. And we're like, okay, this is how you move in synchronicity with each other.
Okay.
All right. And so that helped out tremendously. And of late, we've been playing much better in synchronicity. So
Yeah, but you don't have to get all the balls, Paul.
do you
He
play?
can't help
Do you
Favor hit
play?
his way, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Do you play pickleball?
No, I do not.
Okay. Sissy sport, right?
You think it is until you get out there and
Yeah.
someone smashes the ball at you.
Something snaps in your head, man, when you step on that court, you know?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Honestly, like that was one of the things I really wanted to play. And then my hips started bothering me. So
Oh, okay. All
that
right.
kind of leveled me out, For now, I'm getting it treated. So, who
Yeah.
knows?
But you're an athlete and you need
Yeah.
an outlet.
Yeah,
Same
absolutely.
thing. We needed an outlet, and we discovered this, and so here we are.
Yeah. Awesome. So,
Yeah, like the other day, I was having a bad day. I text Paul, I'm at the pickleball club and I may not come home today. And he was like, do what you need to do, babe. I was there 5 hours. I played for 5 hours.
Oh, my
It was
goodness.
like 19,000 steps, like 8 miles. I just wouldn't come. I was like, nope.
I
I'm
know
not
you guys
doing
got a hot tub. I know that, especially after 5 hours. Jeez.
it. Oh my
And a
God.
plunge. Anyway,
Yeah.
we digress.
So, what's one business disagreement you had that helped you grow as partners and not just entrepreneurs?
I think what we talked about earlier, my desire to look at anything and everything and
Yes.
all things, and then her ability to be disciplined in this is our wheelhouse. Let's stay in our wheelhouse.
And how we were able to do that, I literally just went and looked at the prior year of all the money that we made,
Okay.
what areas we made it in. And I was like, look, we've tried all this stuff, but this is where we're making all of our money. So let's focus on this. All this other stuff is fun and exciting, but this
Yeah.
is where the bread and butter is.
The shiny object syndrome, right?
It does, because because Paul coaches a lot of people, like they'll call and say, hey man, I found this really cool deal and it's blah, 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 blah. And it's like, ooh, that sounds so fun. It's like, but why? Because we're not really experts at that. And we're
Right.
experts at this, and this is easier because we just know how to do it. So let's stay in our lane. And we have been this last year, we looked at some deals that were different, but unfortunately right now, people are not wanting to just hand over their bank accounts to you because
They didn't make
everybody's worried
sense
about
to us.
everything, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Investors are very worried right now, and I understand that.
You talked earlier about the 40 years of experience. So one thing that I can definitely say is, okay, I have a very long history of business acumen, right? I have of business experience. So I can sniff through a deal. I can see where the opportunity is. I can see where the challenges are. I can understand a lot about the personnel that's involved. And so I get a really good idea in my head, a picture of what this deal, what this transaction will look like, not just now, but 4, 5, 6 years from now. So, and that's just experience. That's straight experience. And so if I step back and not look at the shiny object, but look at the real day-to-day work that it's going to require, all right, that helps us make a decision.
Yeah, that's kind of what we're more focused on too right now too.
Okay.
Not so much day-to-day stuff.
And when I mentor and teach people, I find that a lot of people have shiny object syndrome. And I think that's fine because you gotta always be in the game of looking for opportunities. And that's great. So what I often do is I help dissect those things for them. Like, can you really accomplish this? And can it be profitable for you? And what's going to happen if you don't? So, and that's all experience on my part.
Yeah,
Pulse.
I think everybody starting out needs a coach. I mean, it's because it's just so much money, right? It's your money, their money, everybody's money. And I feel like when we've seen deals kind of go bad from other people, it's always because when you get started, you're so excited.
Right. So
much opportunities, right? But having someone to ground you along the way is so important.
yeah, definitely. You definitely want that person there to ground you. And seems like both of you do that for one another. Paul, so you were mentioning just a second ago mentoring, and then Letitia, you just mentioned coaching as well. So what values are most important to you when mentoring other entrepreneurial couples?
For them to have or for us to give?
For you to give.
Currency.
Yeah.
Like we were just talking about it this morning, how much of our personal lives do we share with people?
Yeah, we did have that conversation.
We had that conversation this morning over coffee, and we don't have anything to hide. So it's like, she 2.5 years ago, she had breast cancer diagnosis. We went through all that. At that moment, we decided to actually double down on our business, and so
Yeah, that was hard.
that, not to let that be a stumbling block. So the answer to your question is transparency. If we're working with couples, it's like, where's the fight? Where's the disagreement? This is our fight. This is our disagreement. Do you see similarity there? Can you get through that based on our example? And by the way, when people give us their answers or their issues, we look in the mirror and we're like, oh, where does that show up in our life?
Right.
And so,
yeah, it definitely helps us.
Yeah, one of the things that we've done at our retreats is we have a marriage and family and sex therapist come in and talk to the group. Mm-hmm. And so, that's a super important part of the relationship, and it affects everything and everything affects it. So let's discuss it.
I love that.
She just wrote a book saying how to have the best fight of your life. It was really good.
Say that again.
How to have the best fight of your life.
Wow.
Great
interesting
title.
Huh?
Great title.
Because
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does that answer the question?
Yes, it does. Absolutely. Transparency. So you speak about legacy often. How do you define legacy beyond financial wealth?
I don't even think it's financial wealth.
You go, girl.
Yeah, no, it has nothing to do with money because everybody can get money, right?
Right.
It's what you do with your time, right? So to us, it's like, because we have 7 grandchildren that we absolutely adore. And so it's just, and our kids, we love our kids, of course, but it's like having time to do things with your kids and your grandkids so that at the end of it all, they're going to have these great memories. I'll tell you something, like last weekend, we live in San Antonio. I drove to Austin, right?
We have 2 kids in Austin.
Yeah, my 2 daughters live there and they have 5 children between the 2 of them. And they live like a block apart from each other. So it's just like a little harem of children. They're so cute. So my daughter called and said, hey, my daughter is having a fundraiser at her school. We decided to do it at this Eastside Paddle Pickleball Club. Do you want to register and play? And Paul and I were going to go play in it together, but he had already registered to play in San Antonio at some other pickleball tournament. So I said, hey, I'll have James play with me, who is my 10-year-old grandson, and he plays pickleball. And he's been taking lessons and he's quite good. And so we went to this tournament. I played with my grandson and we won first place. I thought he was going to die. Like the last 3 points, he would look at me and goes, 3 more points, Grandma. You're going to win the gold. And when we won, he jumped upon me and hugged me and started crying. I was like, that is a memory he will take with him forever. So we want to be healthy enough and have enough money, not to go buy mansions, because we just want to go have memories and experiences with our kids and our family. And that is what we're most focused on.
Yeah.
I think part of the legacy too is they need to experience how we experience life. So we don't need to say to them, you need to do this and this. They just see, we're living full. We're doing us. We get along, we're in love and we're working hard and we're playing hard and we're loving hard and we're grandparenting hard and by hard, I just mean full out.
Right.
So, and when they see that, when they feel that, that's the legacy. It's like, don't leave anything on the table.
Yeah. Yeah. You said the right thing. Feel. They will feel that. They see it, yes, but that feeling is what legacy definitely is all about. And that'll carry them into adulthood, seeing and knowing what grandmom, grandpa did, and how they lived their life. Wow. So how do you ensure businesses are not only profitable, but also purpose driven?
Well, you could be in any business. My belief is you can be in any business and you get to choose the purpose that you attach to that business. So the purpose is a choice. The purpose doesn't come out of the business. The purpose comes from within you. You can be in real estate. You can be a teacher. You can be a physician. You can be an IT person. You get to decide the purpose that you attach to your means of making a living. And so make a choice, make a valid choice, and then stick to that choice. So the reason that we build real estate, a real estate portfolio and a real estate empire is so our purpose is to leave the legacy for our kids and our grandkids that we just discussed. And so that legacy is our purpose. And we define that purpose out of our work. So you got work, state your purpose, choose your purpose.
Yes. So I have another question for you. So how do you approach mindset coaching differently for entrepreneurial couples compared to a solo professional?
You're dealing with two people. You're dealing with the two. We have a lot of similarities, but we have a lot of differences. And so it's the differences that appealed to me in the beginning. And I'm sure there were differences that she observed that appealed to her, along with the similarities. So when you're
Absolutely, yeah. Because Paul is very zen, right? He's very chill. He really is. He's very relaxed. Life is good, you know. And I was very attracted to that. It's like, man, you were just like nothing upsets you. And it's so funny because his children are like that too. Like his grandchildren are like that. He has a granddaughter that's 8 years old. She comes to our house. I don't even hear her. Quiet. She's sweet and loving and quiet. His grandson's the same way. The door opens when my kids get here and it's an all-out freaking circus because they're like me. It's weird. So you attract, I like the quiet and I like the comfort and I like the strength, right? And I think Paul probably liked the excitement and the fun and going to the circus, you know? So when we coach people, it's really just finding out what your partner has and how y'all can build that together and really bring it together to be really successful. But all of mindset coaching starts with starting your day right.
Okay.
Excuse me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so you embrace the changes.
Yeah.
Excuse me. You embrace the differences. And we talked a minute ago about giving something purpose on purpose.
Yes.
So the differences and the embracing of the differences is a choice. I mean, I can focus on all the differences and how it irritates me all day long. That's easy. She can do the same. But if I do a slight mind shift and go, these are the changes, or these are the differences that I'm embracing because I really love the differences. And that's just an example. This is why people get divorced. This is the heart of why people get divorced. They start seeing all of the differences in the person that they're married to instead of the similarities. So they're focusing on all the differences instead of the unity of the similarities.
So as we start to wrap up this podcast, I have a couple of final questions. And what has been the most transformational mindset shift you've had to make in your careers?
For me, it happened many, many years ago, like literally in the mid-90s, when I don't know why it took this long, but it did take this long because I was, in my early 30s, and I learned that the meaning of anything is the meaning that you give it. So any event that happens to you in your life did not actually happen to you, it happened for you. So the moment that you say, the reason that happened is because it makes me a better person, refines my values, you choose, then you're out of victim mode and you're into victor mode. So you get to choose because people have all kinds of challenges. People, physical challenges, emotional challenges, historical challenges from their childhood, etc. So the meaning of those events, I get to choose. And it's the same thing in business. And it's not that business is not challenging, because business is extremely challenging, sometimes on a minute-to-minute basis. Yes?
Yeah, I think back in the beginning, yes.
Yes. All right. So what's the meaning I give to that? The meaning I give to that could be, and usually is for me, I'm so fortunate to be able to make these choices myself, that I don't have someone else making these decisions for me, that I have the ability, the capacity, that God's given me the energy and the strength and the courage to make these decisions myself. How grateful can I be for that? And that's a choice.
Yeah. What about you, Letitia?
I can't pinpoint one thing. I was really lucky. I grew up with a really, really positive father figure. Like my dad was super happy and super joyous. And, I think about it sometimes, like he was a plumber and I can identify my dad being somewhere because he was always whistling. It's so funny. And sometimes I do that and Paul's like, did you just whistle? I was like, yeah, I did. It's funny.
Because you're remembering your father.
Yeah. So I think I've kind of always been pretty positive.
Okay.
I do have to admit though, when Paul and I got married, I learned a lot about just how to be more quiet in myself as far as in the mornings, because I'd never had like a morning routine. I was a corporate executive. I had 2 kids. They were super active. We played all kinds of sports. I had them in everything. I coached them in everything. And so I never had a quiet morning. I woke up, I was making breakfast, getting kids ready, take them to school, work all day long, pick them up, go to practices, making dinners, washing clothes, all that kind of mom stuff, right? So I never even thought that you were supposed to do that. And then when Paul and I got married and I would see him getting up in the morning and just having his coffee and sitting and reading for an hour, I was like, what are you doing? Why are you so happy? What's going on? So I feel like a lot of my life changed when we got married just from that part. And that's brought so much peace in my life. And it's not that I wasn't happy before, because I was, but it's really it's really grounded me and made me feel very safe, because I feel very peaceful a lot. So thank you, babe.
So we talked about the moment when you get to make a decision about how you're going to live your life and how you intend to define that, and what meaning do you give it? Okay. So at some point in my past, I mean, I know when we don't have enough time here. But, I had to make some choices, and that is, to take control of my emotions and the purpose of my life and so forth. So I really do believe that I'm fortunate and blessed to have been able to see that. So many people don't. And so many people have a disturbed life. And, I have a great deal of empathy for them. I was one of the lucky ones that got presented with that and to be able to change that.
Okay. So
that's not a real estate comment, by the way.
So for couples listening, feel misaligned or overwhelmed, where should they start to rebuild unity and momentum?
They need to take time. They need to step away and just remember why they got connected in the first place.
Make a list, what you liked about that other person. Make a list of all the fun you had together, and then revisit that and say, okay, well, we did this, this, and this, and I like this, this, and this. So how do we get back to that? And forget all the other stuff, because, you can't take any of that back. Just start fresh.
Yeah. Take a walk down memory lane inside your own mind. Like, what got you together with this person in the first place? I don't do it very often now, because I stay usually pretty present to why we're together and how much I love her. But when we first started dating, I wrote down everything. I wrote down our first date, our first kiss, our first I love you.
I had like a list. I couldn't believe it. I was like,
the dates and times of all these stuff. And if, like I said, I don't do it very often, but if I wanted to, and I'd go back and I look at that and go, oh, okay, this is why I'm here. It's so instantly, it's like reconnection. So couples that are in stress, they got to reconnect. And sometimes it's as simple as sitting together and just breathing in sync, and just physically being in step with each other. Okay. And then that physicality then turns into emotional connection, emotional synchronicity, and then you just build from there. So if a couple will just allow themselves to get through the ego of I'm right, you're wrong, I'm right, this kind of thing. If they will just allow themselves to get through that ego just for a moment and reconnect to why they're together, that's a super good first start.
Paul, Letitia, this has been awesome. Well, again, it's been a blast having you guys as my guests today. As we close out, please tell our listeners where we can learn more about you, get in touch with you, and learn about all the fabulous things you have going on right now.
The best way to get a hold of us is montelongocapital.com. We've got ways to connect with us. We've got resources there. We've got our retreats listed there. We've got our high velocity couple podcast listed there. We've got our deals listed there, ways to invest with us, ways to work with us, ways to network with us. When we have networking events, free networking events, which we do frequently. So montelongocapital.com is really the best way. From there, we have all of our social media links. Follow us on social media, because sometimes we get silly, but we're just living life. We hope that we can provide a good example for people. That's a side benefit. We're interested in living our life, and the side benefit is if it helps somebody else, great. That just brings more meaning to our life.
Awesome. Paul, Letitia, again, I want to thank you for your time today and all the wisdom you have provided to my listeners. It's greatly appreciated. And I want to thank you, our fans, for tuning in to the Syndication Podcast, where we want to provide value to you and your investing business. Please tune into our next episode, where we will have another fantastic investing professional. See you next time.
Thanks for listening to the Service to Syndication Podcast. We want you to know that we love and appreciate your support, and we are grateful about being a part of your journey to becoming a successful real estate entrepreneur. Please share this episode with a friend who you think will get a lot out of what you just heard. Send it to someone who you know is interested in real estate and dreams of having it all and being the best they can be in all areas of life. And if this was really valuable, share it on your social media stories and timelines. Thank you for watching and listening. Now go be great.